But I really think that we should probably review that and see where we can possibly, because Tracy's here instead, we used to have Andy involved. I mean, I would just like for you to know what is being planned or have some involvement in that particular event. Because like I said, I think it's gone from 10 to 15 to now 25. And in reality, I mean, I don't know how everybody else's business has been, but I have not seen, and I don't want to say that I haven't seen an increase in May, but it stayed pretty steady even with the increases in the spending. So I just would like just an overview or at least some input from this group into that event.
Would it be appropriate to have someone from the Arts Council come and talk to us next
Well,
time?
I think I would like to see, and this is just my opinion, y'all can decide what you want to do as the rest of the commission. I mean, it is, we're supposed to do this as a group. What I would make a suggestion of, and it may not be what everybody else wants, is that Tracy gets with Sandy and they actually sit down and they come back to us and say, this is what we're thinking about doing. It may not happen in May. We don't know. We may not be doing events. So I just think that we need to come up with a sorry, I can't breathe out of this mask. It's killing me.
Partnership.
A partnership, a co-partnership where we are involved in that. And there may be some things that she has new ideas. There may be some ideas that we can add, and I say we, meaning, you know, Tracy and staff. So that's what I'd like to see prior to us kind of moving money around and Xing things out and whatever.
Jerry?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I also like that in that fact that May Fine Arts is a month-long deal.
Right.
Traditionally, and I'm sure will continue to be that, and it might be this year that we have May Fine Arts in July. I mean, it you know, and you could call it that. I mean,
Could
it's
happen.
you know, this, you know, you're going to get odd things, so it may have to move, but we need to be ready for it in case it is able to come off scheduled or has to be, you know, pushed back for 2 months or whatever, maybe 3 or maybe not at all. We don't know that yet. But I would rather at least be prepared with a plan.
Absolutely.
And have something, you know, where we're ready to go.
All right, so we'll make sure that to get together and come in and report
that'd
probably
be
next
good.
meeting.
Well, I'm just curious, like, what's the balcony music series for the entire deal?
For the whole balcony series, the 22,000?
Okay, so there's $22,000 being spent to provide music, and we're talking about $20-some thousand for a month-long festival. I'd just like to keep things in perspective here.
Okay.
Right, it's the impact to the community that I'm questioning. I don't have to come out on Saturday to understand it. I live downtown. I 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. I live downtown. I know where the music is. I know who's providing the music. I know all the buskers downtown. I know who pays for their own music. And I think when we're talking about spending $20-some thousand, we need to keep these things in perspective.
Well, and also, I think
Didn't know we
as a community, we need to keep in mind our artists because they're a huge part of the community and some of the draw for Eureka. But I think your suggestion to have the two ladies get together and come back in and present and just tell us what's going to happen and maybe have a plan B
Right.
in case they aren't able to do it in May. Yes, ma'am. Susan.
I just want to ask, Jane, I don't, you seem upset. I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, I think we're open to figuring out what we need to do. You just seem upset.
Well, you're wanting to cut funds for May Fine Arts out of the block.
I didn't say that.
No,
What I
you
said
said
was-
that we've gone from $10,000 to $20,000,
Right.
and you would like to examine that. And I'm saying that we're spending 20-some thousand dollars to provide music that, in my opinion, is not necessary and is quite frankly a waste of money. So I'm just asking about keeping things in perspective.
Okay, I didn't know if you were upset because you do agree, though, that we should at least be a part of it, though.
I
since we
agree
have-
that we should look closely at
Okay.
every dollar we spend as a commission.
Okay, but you're okay with us, with Tracy going over some of the things as far as May Festival of the Arts?
I want to be kept informed at every step along the way in this process.
Okay, and I think everybody else does too.
Well,
So,
yes.
anyway, I just want, I'm not trying to start anything, you just seemed upset, so I just wanted to clarify
Well, we're
what.
5 days out from the election, and my blood pressure's at about 150 over 80.
Get it? All right, so this part of the budget then we're going to sort of leave to deal with. What else would you like to talk about tonight?
I didn't have anything else. That was the only thing that came up after the workshop, that Mayfest wasn't in there, so.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to talk about the salaries.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to go over that. I saw you included that last sheet.
There's two. There's one that's the current as it is, and then
Okay.
one as the budget's broke out for next year.
Okay, so as it stands right now, we don't have the director,
Right.
and we have put in the additional for the director, correct?
Yes, we have for
Okay.
next year.
And so then my question is,
Group sales, okay.
my question is, which items, where have we changed? Okay, so special events is in there for 2021. The director is in there for 2021. And then as far as responsibilities from different jobs, because I know Gina was doing the interim, correct?
Right.
So is the salary that's in here included as interim, or is it,
In the 2021 budget, it's not. That's under the admin, executive director, whatever that is. The additional's not in there in the publicist line. It's
in
the-
2021?
Right.
Okay, so my question is, in regards to that, I know that there's a couple things here. I know that Gina is doing more than what she was doing before, correct? And what we asked her to do is put together that overview of job description. We know she's handling more than what she was handling before because she now has Paradise, right?
Right.
So I think that probably needs to have somewhat of an adjustment, unless we just plan on taking her back to where she was before.
That's not up to me.
Is
No,
that-
I understand.
Yeah,
I'm
is that
just,
what this figure is, the 43? Is that previously, or is that a suggested salary?
That's before the extra $10 for
Got it,
being
okay.
executive.
okay.
So this is what you were making?
Right.
A year ago or so? Yes. Okay.
And
got
then
it.
my next question is, we had a discussion probably at least a month and a half ago about our special events position, moving away from contract and going to full-time.
Right. And that's on this spreadsheet for next year.
Okay, and that is,
Special events.
that's special events, and that's the contract rate right now, right?
And again, that's up to you.
No, I
just brought
understand. I just want
forward-
to make sure that I'm looking at
number.
those numbers correctly.
Yeah,
So that's the contract rate
Right now.
minus medical,
right. That
Got it.
contract rate didn't have any benefits.
okay? Got it? So it would be 42 plus benefits
Right.
is what you're?
If that's what you decide to do. I mean, it's
All right.
up to y'all.
And then the last item I have is any additional contract work or workers, and I'm going to point at Ron because he's still classified as what?
He's not labor.
Contract.
He's
We're
contract.
contracted with his business.
But that's all under the auditorium.
Right.
Okay, just
Yeah.
trying to make sure I'm clear
Yeah, it
on
doesn't
where
fall under
everything is.
payroll because it's a contract for services with a business.
Okay, so those are my
I would
questions.
clarify that's equipment and services.
Equipment and services, okay.
So admin assistance on here for any particular reason?
That's just because that line was there, I just zeroed it
Okay,
out.
all right, on
Yeah.
both of these, okay, I got it.
In case you put it back in there, I left it there,
I
just
got
so
it,
my
I got it.
spreadsheet, because all those numbers calculate automatically for the FICA and the SUDA and all that stuff, so I just zeroed it out and left that line in there.
So I think if, one suggestion I would make is, you know, we've got a lot, we're looking at maybe having a lot of people called director, and I think it's important that if and when we hire the director, that person be the lead person. So maybe that needs to have a better definition. Maybe it's executive director, but that way nobody's confused that there is going to be a chain of command. So I would like to see, we can call it executive director or whatever. But
Yeah, well, I put that in there just because we didn't know if we were going to have an executive director or an admin or,
Well, I think we
manager or
put
whatever.
some money in for that, for a position.
yeah, we did, we put the money there.
But I see that as, you know, you really need to have one person that speaks for the group that's responsible. That's how I'm viewing that position. So I think that would be helpful. Because you're called a director, and Gina, are you going to be
I mean,
publicist now? That might be
yeah, the
another thing to talk
suggestion
about your
was marketing director.
marketing director, okay. All right, and then Karen's position would be group sales and admin?
Yeah, she's doing the front desk, which was the admin assistant.
All right, got it. All right. So do we want to agree, at least agree on the titles first?
Well, I'd kind of like to talk about the salaries more so, because I mean, we can call ourselves whatever we want. But, you know, I don't know if I'm real comfortable taking Gina back to her original salary, just because she has a lot more responsibility now than what she had before. And I don't know when raises were given. I'm assuming, well, you guys have always gotten the cost of living, right?
We didn't this year.
You didn't get the cost of living this year? Oh, well, that's true. There was none probably given
Yeah.
anywhere, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
city, usually if the city doesn't do it, we don't do it either.
Okay.
Okay, so do we know when, can you get us the numbers, or can you get us the years as to when the last raises were given?
I think it was 2 years.
2 years ago.
It was
Yep,
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay,
And was it in January? Did the salaries happen?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
so that's I mean, outside of Gina, I think, you know, she does have a lot more responsibility now. So I would hope we would take that into consideration instead of pulling her back to what she was originally making when she was under Mike. And then the special events, we need to get an answer on whether or not, Tracy, whether or not you are willing to go to full-time, because I think that's what we had talked about as far as what our option was, right? As far as auditors go?
Either that, or she would have to start a business, and we would have to contract with the business. Basically, we just can't have contract labor anymore.
Right.
The state has basically made it almost impossible to meet the criteria to pay somebody that way.
Okay. So I think those are a couple important discussions that we should have. I mean, obviously, we're getting ready to approve a budget, and we need to know where we stand on those things. As far as the $42,000 goes, I mean, I would think that is a salary that would be reflective with benefits. That would be a total, because we're moving to full-time, and benefits are included. Overall package, I think, should be at 42.
Okay.
But
Which, for
Again,
which-
that's my
which
opinion.
position? Which, for which?
Special events.
For social, so with the medical benefits, subtract that from.
Well,
42.
I mean, I would just like to know what the total benefit package is. I
What
mean,
it-
typically when
yeah,
you,
What it's worth.
what do we have? What does that package equate to?
It basically lists it here under benefit.
Okay, so we've got a $8,000 package, basically?
The first year, she wouldn't get retirement, so that's not in there. But the health insurance itself is $5,000 per employee a year.
That's what our cost is
Right,
for a single,
Yeah.
right.
okay.
And if they have children, then they have to pay the difference. We don't cover the families. We just cover just the employee.
Okay, and then you said retirement, what is the retirement?
You can put in up to 5% of your wages, and the city will match that. It's up to you whether you do it or not. Mike didn't do it until the last couple of years, but
And as a city employee, how long do you have to work for the city to qualify for retirement?
you have to work for a year before you can do the retirement.
Okay, so,
Unless you're management. Management's instant, you can do it right away, but,
okay, but when you
Regular.
say retirement, that's like a 401K?
right.
Okay, what I'm asking you is, there are many cities around the United States where if you work for the city, you are guaranteed a retirement.
We're not.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
We have
then.
to put a percentage of our wages in. There's actually two separate accounts. There's an employee account and a city account, and until you've worked for the city for 6 years, you're not vested to get the city's
Okay.
half. If you leave the city within the 6 years, you only get what you put in. If you're here for 6 years, then you get both.
Okay,
Okay. So you're saying we need to adjust the salary level?
well, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying, so it's
I
up
can-
to the commission to.
I can break it out several different ways for y'all if you want, and maybe hit it at a workshop to where we can.
Yeah, I agree with you about Gina's salary. I think we need to just keep in mind what a potential ED will make, what Rick's making, and make sure that we're kind of looking at it in the overall sense. Terry, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if we get that situation worked out with Tracy, and I agree with Gina's situation, I believe that until things change, that we should not put on another employee.
Yeah, we've already discussed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just want to make sure that that's
Yeah,
what the plan is. I mean,
We've
there's
got it
nothing wrong
in-
with having it
yeah.
in the budget,
yeah,
but it doesn't have to be tapped until the time is right.
yeah. Although I will say we've had, in the last couple of weeks, we've had 3 people one person sent a resume in. We've had 3 people express an interest in whatever opening we might have. So just without any advertising.
Have-
So you know.
great.
Have you, I haven't seen any of those. Is the plan to share those?
I sent the one that I had to everybody.
Okay.
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I
So-
asked him when that came in
Yeah,
to send it out.
At this point, they're really pretty wordless anyway. I mean, I'm not, till we're ready to
Okay,
Yeah.
look at them.
But it is a time when a lot of our Arkansas CVBs are laying people off, so there are some interesting people out there.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, any resume I get, though, I'll make sure that they get sent out.
and then I know that y'all put together kind of what you thought that director would do. Has anybody looked at that, to agree or not agree?
We haven't approved the job descriptions. We've not done that yet. We should probably do that next meeting, or we could work on that at the workshop. We could work on that, and we could work on the entertainment stuff. Maybe Sandy and Tracy could meet before the workshop.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, because I think we need to at least agree that, especially an executive director, whatever we're going to call that person, that we're clear on what we expect that person to do, and then does the salary justify the job description? So,
Got it. Okay. So do we need to take any action on these things, or we're going to kind of
I
clean
don't-
this up at the workshop?
Yeah, I don't
but-
think I would tonight.
All right. Okay, so our workshop is scheduled for the 11th, which is Veterans Day, probably not a problem for us, at 4 o'clock. Is that working for everybody? The next meeting in November is going to be the 25th, which is the night before Thanksgiving. That would be our regular meeting. Is that an okay date for
I'd
people?
probably move it the week prior to that.
Somebody's suggesting we do it a week earlier, the 18th. I would appreciate that personally.
Me too.
You too?
Yes.
Would
Doesn't matter to
would the 18th be possible for you guys, everybody here?
Is that a meeting? That's a meeting.
It's a regular meeting.
That's our
Okay.
regular meeting would be the 25th, which is the night before Thanksgiving, and we're saying maybe do it
Is
a
this
week-
building available?
If not, we can do it downstairs or
Okay.
in the office.
We'll find a place.
Okay, yeah, I
Somewhere
don't
where
have
we
a
can
problem with
spread
that.
out.
Okay,
18th,
yeah, Bobby,
18th.
we'll wait on you, make sure. Does that look okay?
It does.
Okay, great.
It does, thank you.
All right, so we will move that meeting. We might ought to look at December. We don't have to make a change right now, but the December workshop will be fine on the 9th. Our regular meeting would be the 23rd, which is Christmas Eve. So we'll just leave that out there, I think, for now, but kind of keep that in mind, depending on if you have any plans to travel or have family in. Okay? Alrighty. Back to this. Agenda setting. For our workshop, I think we've decided we'll talk about Arts Festival, probably the entertainment budget. We should really talk about that, and the job descriptions.
Also, Paradise will be here that week.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's anything.
The week of the workshop?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, it's not 100%, but
Okay.
they're tentatively going to be here that week. They were going to just meet with everybody individually, and they want to meet with some of our partners too, but they will be here if there's anything you would need from them at the
Well,
workshop.
do you want them to do any sort of a presentation for the community?
I can ask them, but I don't think, I think they're here for, we're trying to work out what we're going to do for 2021 and
Okay, great.
what everybody wants to see.
Anybody else have anything for the workshop or agenda meeting for the next meeting, which will be the 18th? Okay. Commissioner comments? Terry?
none.
Nothing?
No, I
Susan,
have
sorry.
none.
Bobby?
Do not, thank you.
None from me? Jim?
Vote.
Yeah, vote. And Greg?
No, nothing.
All right. Do you
To
have
adjourn.
a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. See ya in a couple.